name is. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is.
Into the Cypher with your light.
Welcome to the Into the Cypher podcast. It is I, it is he, it is him. That cute brown brother with the four limbs. What? Cypher the MC, the Muhammad Ali of MCs. Welcome you back to the podcast, to the Cypher Nation. Stand up, you know what it is. We just got through another week. Where's my background music? There we go. Every great superhero needs background music. Remember, I'm going to get you, sucker. That movie actually has an underlying tone to this podcast episode, but we'll get into that later. But first, if you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. If you've been here for a minute, pull up your favorite chair, get your popcorn ready as we go through our disclaimers, through some variation. As you know, I'm not a relationship expert.
Nope.
I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist of any kind. I'm not a sex therapist. I don't have any masters or doctorates on my wall from Harvard.
Nope.
I am just a regular, say it with me now, just a regular Joe Schmo.
Yep.
Just a regular guy giving me the benefit of his experience, his observations, from a different perspective as we continue to be on this journey. And I say we because I am on this journey with you to be the best version of ourselves day by day. Baby steps, people. We got to take baby steps, but at least we are moving forward. I know you probably looked at the title of this podcast and was like, what is he going to get into today? Well, I told you guys last year that season 2 is going to be gloves off, bare knuckles. We're talking about Kimbo Slice. If you don't know who Kimbo Slice is, look him up. He used to whoop people in his neighborhood for money, and eventually got into UFC and things of that nature, boxing and all that sort of stuff. Tough guy, but he was bare knuckles, hands down one of the toughest guys. But today's topic deals with how hard it is to forgive. It's not impossible, but it's hard to actually forgive. And I know I've touched on forgiveness plenty of times in the past, plenty of times in some variation, some shape, form, or fashion. But the fact of the matter is, I wanted to kind of put this into a little bit of a perspective and things of that nature. And this will be an adult recording. We're adults here. And, it's kind of been a trying week and a half for the most part. And just to share with my family. You're my family. You're my Cypher family. My dad, he's recovering from having heart surgery. He was in the hospital for well over a week. He's an active guy. So to be incapacitated and not being able to do what he likes to do, go to the gym, just be active, it took a toll on him. His spirits were up, though. I wanted to check in on him every day and try to keep his spirits where they needed to be. Having been in the hospital myself in 2021 when I had COVID. And this is prior to starting the podcast and just knowing how it felt to just lay there. And if you've been in the hospital and for whatever reason or for whatever purpose and you just had to just lay there, and if it wasn't for the company of others or the presence of others, you probably likely would have gone insane. Because you couldn't move, you couldn't do anything, you couldn't just say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go outside for a bit. You couldn't do that. It was always just lay there. And by the grace of God, he's home, he's recovering. And then last week, my mother, she was complaining of chest pains while she was at work. And she had to go to the hospital and, just getting checked out. Luckily, she didn't have to stay overnight. Luckily, she did not have to stay overnight. And it was just through prayer and just kind of, going through those emotions and things of that nature. Because these are very, two key people in my support system. I talk with them frequently and I always let them know exactly what's going on with me and things of that nature. And, for both of them to be down, it's kind of like playing one of those zombie fighting games. It doesn't matter if it's, Left 4 Dead or World War Z. And one of your members, they go down and you see the little plus sign over their heads and things of that nature. And they're surrounded by zombies and you're fighting off zombies to try to get to them, to help revive them, to keep them going. That's how I felt. Like, dang, 2 members of my team are down. I gotta make sure that they're okay. I gotta reach out to them. And it took a toll. It took a toll. But luckily both of them are recovering. And I'm in a much better space. And I say all that to say this. I kind of looked at, my life and I'm like, you know what? I need to get in better shape. I need to get back to where I was, and things of that nature before I took on this mantle of starting a podcast and doing these other things and things of that nature. And being able to kind of say, okay, I want to take my life in a new direction. You have to unburden yourself with certain things. You have to kind of say, you know what, if I'm going to be taking on this, I need to let go of this. I need to let go of that. I need to let go of this. And that's the hard part about forgiveness. I know we're like 6-7 minutes in. You're like, finally, he gets to the point. Forgiveness is not for you. No, it's not for the other person. It's for you. So if someone has done you wrong or someone has kind of taken advantage of you, you felt taken advantage of, you felt your kindness was taken for weakness, you felt that you were looked at as quote unquote soft or someone that could be manipulated, and you're still holding on to that. I mean, I know people who are still holding on to grudges from years ago. And you may be one of them. You may be one of those that, well, my daddy wasn't in my life, or my mother wasn't in my life, or, I didn't have the best relationship with, whomever growing up, and they treated this part of the family this way, or they treated this part of the family that way, and my side doesn't mess with them like that, or blah blah blah. I'm here to tell you today that things like that weighs in on you, because you're fine as long as you don't see that person or those people that cause you to feel that way. You're fine. You can go about your day. You may even have a laugh or two, maybe even a great chuckle. That's a funny word, chuckle. A chuckle. You're just looking at something. That's funny. But the minute that you see this person, or you hear this person's name, or you kind of, have to kind of just engage with this person or whatever, especially if you're at work, I'm sure that's the worst. You can't stand your boss or this particular coworker that somehow gets all of the, promotions or gets some sort of favorable treatment in your eyes or whatever. You're like, oh my gosh, bro. You're like, oh my goodness, do I really have to do this today? Can I go home? And see, the thing of it is, that's a natural feeling. I fully believe that we as human beings, we naturally want to be happy. God wants us to be happy. Our Creator wants us to be happy. And we even subconsciously seek an environment where we are not stressed, where we are not drama filled, we don't have any drama in our lives. We actively and even subconsciously seek that, because when we are in a good space, so to speak, if we are encountered with or bombarded with some sort of negativity or whatever, we want to look into the direction of that negativity, where it's coming from, and we want to address it. Like, dude, why are you bringing down my vibe? Like, why are you causing drama? Listen here, I'm not here for all that. Some of the, those are some of the responses to wherever this drama is coming from, this nonsense is coming from. And long story short, any type of forgiveness that you say, you know what, I'm just going to let this go because I can address this with this person, and regardless of whatever happens, the fact that I've addressed it, they know what's going on, and that's the end of it. The forgiveness is for you, not for them. Always keep that in mind. And we'll be right back to continue with a word from our sponsor. Guys, hey, I know you've been watching the video. You're loving it, right? Thumbs up, likes, subscribe. You'll get back to it when I get you back to the video. Anyway, I wanted to quickly tell you about the company that I've partnered with called Credit Rent Boost. Pretty much allows you to basically have your rent that you pay monthly. Doesn't matter if it's an apartment, house, townhome, castle with a moat, if you have one, if you're rich like that, whatever. But guess what? You can actually have that reported to the credit bureaus as positive credit history that you're paying. So why not get credit for what you're already paying, right? Go to creditrentboost.com, and not only can you get credit moving forward for what you're paying for rent, little known secret here, for the past 2 years you can get credit. So you can get credit for rent that you paid last year, the year before that, from 2020, right? So why not give them a chance? You can use my promotion code OVM24522, or better yet, I'll leave the link in the description box below. Might be the best thing you ever do. Now, get back to the video. Smash the like. That guy's voice is so smooth. Like Billy D smooth, like Colt 45. You remember the Billy D? Alright then. His voice got me off track. But no, forgiveness is not for them. It's not to give them some sort of peace of mind or anything such as that. It is for you yourself. Now, this is for those that choose to address it physically with the person. They're like, hey, listen, I need to talk to you. I need to tell you some things. I need to tell you what you did and whatever. Because sometimes, I would say most of the time, most people don't even know that you were offended by what they did or by what they said. It may seem crazy that I just said that. They may not even know that you are upset with them, but your behavior, your reaction to their presence or to hearing their name mentioned or, whatever, it leads them to believe, like, why so-and-so be tripping? Why they act like this when I come around or whatever the case may be. They may not even know. So how you address that is how you address that. Now, but let's be honest. Most of the times they do know. Most of the times they do know. I know you sitting there bobbing your head like they know why. They know what they did. They do know what they did. They just don't know the impact on how it affected you. But see, here's the thing. When you yourself have to get up in the morning and go to your 9 to 5, when you have to kind of embark on that, planning that event, or you're trying to get something done, with your family, or you're going to some sort of function or whatever, and this person is there, or you hear their name or whatever, if you still kind of get all upset about it, you haven't really truly forgiven. And I know you're thinking, why should I forgive? Because, to be perfectly honest, circling back to, my parents and things of that nature, you don't want that on your heart or within you if there comes a time when you are sick, or you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't feel well, because it weighs on you physically, not just mentally and emotionally. So you have to take that into consideration. Have you ever thought of possibly starting your own podcast? Well, I can tell you firsthand, they can feel overwhelming if you don't know where to get started, and that's where Buzzsprout comes in. Buzzsprout is hands down the easiest and best way to launch a professional podcast, already helping over 100,000 people launch their own podcasts. Buzzsprout will get your podcast into every major podcasting platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. You also will get a great-looking podcasting website and so much more. To start your own podcast and get a $20 Amazon gift card, follow the link in the show notes. This lets Buzzsprout know that we sent you and helps support our show. Buzzsprout, the easiest way to start a podcast. And it may seem difficult. It may seem like, oh my gosh, I actually have to do it. And trust me, it is harder than it is. I like to use myself as an example only because I want you to know I'm not preaching from a soapbox. I'm not coming to you with some you must, ha 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 ha, my children, my flock. I'm not that guy, because I'm struggling with this as well. I'm struggling with this as well because sometimes, and pardon me, I just want to punch a motherfucker in the face. That's just me. If I had a gun, I'd probably shoot people in the eyeball. Just the eyeball. No, I wouldn't cause too much other damage. Just the eyeball, so they can see my point. Just you may, oh my gosh, so violent. Well, it depends on what is done to me. But I think I myself, I'm at a new point in my life where I address things in a way that now I'm like, you know what? I can't put up with certain things anymore because I have too much that I need to get done. I feel that I'm here for a reason. I feel that I'm here to kind of be more than what I've been doing. I found my purpose. I can't afford to have things weighing me down or people weighing me down from my purpose, because my purpose is greater than any type of relationship or non-relationship that is not benefiting me. And having a grudge against someone, having some sort of, dare I say, hatred towards anyone for however they wronged you, it doesn't benefit you. It will never benefit you. It may fuel you to a certain degree. Well, I'm going to show these people, who downed me and who told me I wasn't going to be anything, that I wasn't going to amount to anything. I'm going to show them, and this, that, and the third. It may fuel you, but then you have to release it at some point, because it's going to weigh you down at some point. It's going to be counterproductive to what you're trying to do. How can you put out a positive message if hatred is fueling that message? You can't. Because it won't come off as quite as powerful as it needs to be. So, I wanted to take this time to kind of, have an intervention for myself, so to speak, but also encourage each and every one of you that if you have some sort of grudge or negative thoughts or negativity towards someone, whether it's family, friends, co-workers, your mailman, because he keeps shoving mail into your mailbox and he bends it. Like, dude, why are you doing this? Just put it by the door. I'll get it without it being crushed. You have to look at yourself and where you are right now. And trust me, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. So don't think it's going to be some overnight thing that you just all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I've forgiven. I can look at this person, shake their hand, give them a hug, wish them well. Listen here, I can wish anyone well. I don't wish anyone no negativity or anything such as that. But I know what I want more so in my atmospheric circle, so to speak. I know what type of environment I thrive in. And even though I can forgive you, that's the end of it. For me, that's the end of it. I've forgiven you, you go your way, I go mine. That's just my personal stake. Someone say, well, that's not total forgiveness if you can't be around them. If I don't have to be around them, guess what? Why be around them? I have things that I need to do. I have things I need to accomplish. So forgiveness would not benefit them as much as it would benefit me. So I can say my piece, put 2 fingers up, deuces. Because if I put the middle finger up, it's going to be a totally different situation. But if I put 2 fingers up and be like, you be easy. You go your way, I go mine. That's just where I'm at right now. And I'm going to get better at it. Trust me, I'm going to get better at it. This is just me wanting to encourage anyone out there. You have to understand what forgiveness is in order to be able to do it. Because we often stay away from it simply because, I don't want to forgive them. I don't want to, give them a pass to make them think that they got over on me or they got the best of me or whatever. That's not what it is about. It is just merely a way for you to take off that mental and emotional part of you. Because believe it or not, it is affecting you physically. Those pains, the neck pain, the stress, the elevated heart rate, the blood pressure and all that sort of stuff. You don't get, you know what I'm saying? You don't get that excited or bothered when you're watching a scary movie. You don't. But if someone comes into your presence and you just kind of tense up, your body reacts to it, and that's not good. And as my parents continue to recover and get better, I'm like, you know what? They've lived a very good life. They've lived a long life. They're almost 70 years old, both of them. So, but I definitely want them to be around longer. And we all are going to have at some point something physical that we have to deal with, but we don't need to take any emotional baggage and compact it with it. So it's time to forgive. It's time to leave that emotional baggage outside of your door. Like when you go on a cruise and you're about to, get off the ship, you're about to disembark. What do they tell you to do? Put your bags outside your door. We'll take them off the ship for you. So that's what you do. Take that emotional baggage and put it on the outside of your door and let the Creator take it away. Forgive, and because it's time to be the best you. Because that's what I want, and that's what you want. And this has been Cypher the MC, Into the Cypher podcast, the Muhammad Ali of MCs. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I can't say thank you enough for those that continue to rock with your boy. We continue to get better and better. And just know, before you can love anyone else, you must first love yourself. And I am out this thing. Cypher.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is. I will not lose.
Enter the cypher with your light.